today with a very special edition of Arizona Drag Racing Legends. We have our legend, Dean Carter, here. And we have Carol Carter, his mom. We're here to kind of talk about the family and the successes they've had in racing over the years. And definitely remember Ray Carter, Carol's husband, Dean's dad, and for all the great memories we have of drag racing with him. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When did you meet Ray?
When did I meet him?
Yeah, how'd you
What
meet him?
year?
How did you meet him?
Oh, if you don't want to know that story.
Maybe I don't.
My girlfriend and I were taking a walk, and he and his friend were driving by us and started talking to us, and that's how we met.
That's simple. There was no online back then. You had to do what you could do, right?
And then my girlfriend and his friend got married a week after we got married. So both of us, it
was meant to be.
I guess.
Where were you living? Were you living in Phoenix at the time?
In Phoenix.
So you went to in the same neighborhood probably, or close?
No, Ray was in college when I met him, and I was going to Phoenix Junior High School. He lived in Camelback High School District.
Yes, he did. First graduating class of Camelback High School.
Yes, he was.
Started at North High School.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a Camelback Spartan too.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
I
so
went to Camelback too my freshman year.
really, so I knew there's something good about you.
Ray was a senior, I was a freshman, but we didn't know each other.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, all the heritage of the valley and who went where and who got into drag racing and all that. So when you met Ray, was he into cars?
Oh yeah, our first date was at the Chandler Drag Strip.
And had you been to you never been there? Had you been to a drag strip prior to that?
No.
What'd you think?
I thought it was not that exciting.
Oh, whatever the boys want to do. But you kept going.
Well, yeah, I went with Ray.
Yeah, there was. You didn't see any operas that year or any musicals, and
We did all kinds of stuff, but drag racing when we drove over with my girlfriend and her boyfriend picked me up, and we went to get Ray, and he crawled out from under his car. So that was our first date.
What was his car back then?
49 Ford.
Was it souped up?
Oh yeah.
Did
Had
he
a rake on it.
Did he street
He was
race?
in a car club. He was in a car club. The Ram?
Ramblers?
No.
Oh.
Something about a hobo kind of thing. Oh, I can't remember.
Oh.
But anyway.
Back when there were cool car clubs, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
those are good memories. So he got married. When did he decide he wanted to go racing at a higher level? And when
He and his brother bought a frame in, I was pregnant with Ray, so it was in 64. And they put this car together in our backyard, and they ran their first race in 65, 2 weeks after our first son was born.
so he's going racing now.
Yep.
He's got a kid, and they're going racing.
Yeah, well, we had two kids, and we had a girl first.
So Rich, the brother,
Uh-huh.
and Ray.
Yes.
I know. I only ever saw Rich drive the car. Did Ray ever drive the car?
No.
He wasn't.
I think he drove it once or twice, and he didn't really have a desire to drive.
He liked the tuning part.
Yes, he
Yes.
just wanted to make an engine run fast. Yeah.
So, and if he was here, all sorts of things I'd love to ask him. But I'm sure back in those days, there was pick up the phone. Here's my credit card. Yeah, I get these parts. He probably fabricated a lot of stuff on his own, I would imagine.
Yeah. Junkyards loved him.
Yeah, he's quite the guy. So, how long did that car? Did he keep it for a while? There was another car that came along, or
He had that car probably forever. Probably when Dean was a kid.
okay, so it's the same car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
No.
Well, they did get other cars.
So
but-
that car had the key on the back, I think. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So he sold that car, I think, to Dennis Weary,
Okay,
I think. But then that's when him and Mark Niver teamed up, and they built that other car. So
Okay.
he had the envision of building another one, and he got buddies with Mark, and they built a jig. I thought, you got to build something to build the car. And I'm a little kid watching it. You got to build this to build that to build that. And then Mark would come over and weld a couple welds. My dad would My dad would notch the pieces out. Mark would weld another one, things like this. So that's how the car I started in came about.
Okay, so did the car have a name?
And the band, was it the
Well, that was the Arizona Bandit,
Arizona
but
Bandit?
the first car was Little Shifter.
Well, so I remember that.
Yeah. So that was, and he always wanted to put that on there, but then he wanted to be the Arizona Bandit, or Arizona Bad Guys.
Bad guys.
The Arizona Bad Guys, yes.
The Mark Niver helped a lot of people out and did a lot of great things, but anything that he was involved with, I'm sure, and your dad was involved with, because they're both mental
Right.
giants. They were both awesome. They're very imaginative and creative. So that they ran that car, and that's the car you end up racing when
I first started,
yeah,
yes.
first started.
Yeah.
And then where do you remember what drag strips back then were common for you guys to go to?
We went to Beeline and Mel Larson's and Tucson every now and then.
Where was your favorite?
Beeline.
Because it was close to home.
No, it was more like a race. Mel Larson's I worked at Mel Larson's for a while. It was I don't know, it just wasn't as professional type.
Beeline back in the day was a professional drag strip. It was like a big show track.
Right,
So all the big guys went out there, raced, and
right.
you do a lot of interesting things. When did you realize that you wanted to be in the car, in your dad's car? How old were you? Said, Dad, I want to drive the car.
Well, there wasn't really, I want to drive the car, but he made me, so back in the day, you had to start the car up. It had a 3-speed, and to warm it up, it wasn't jack stand. So you drove them around. So you drove around and warm up the rear end gear. So that was my job. Let the clutch out, drive the car around, put the clutch in and bring it back in X amount of time. And when you were late, he was get over here, get it. So, because I was getting the engine too hot, so that's how you warmed up the transmission, the rear end gear, all of the stuff. Every car back in the day made its first run. The second run was always faster because you didn't have the way we warm them up today, and our coolers, our intercooler, things we have today just didn't exist. So
there were no Projects back then.
right. So that was kind of a job I did at 13, 14 years old. And then when we're in Winslow, I forget who it was. It was Scott Dodd or Kelly had a headache, or somebody had a headache, and he said, "Well, he knows how to work the clutch. He can drive it." So he was more interested. He was more interested in getting that car to go down the track than.
I got another son. Let's put Dean
There's
in
a
it.
lot of protests.
So we put a lot of pillows under the seat a little bit, So it's probably at that time it's probably 5'5", 5'7", and so and Scott and Mark's head stuck out when he drove it. And then Scott and Kelly Holzabus were a little bit taller than me, so reaching the pedals was a little difficult. But I knew the big thing is, he says, you know how to stop it. That's all you need to know. So I got out there and shifted it, once, twice, boom, let the clutch out, and off we went. And that was it. The one run, and that was it. So because she was throwing too big of a fit, I guess. So.
Oh, gee whiz! I don't understand why. Come on. So, but that was just, so you tasted blood.
Yeah, well, it was a fun experience, and then then we kind of moved on, and he had other drivers, so it was until I was probably 18, 19 years old that I wanted to go do other things than just bar hop and whatnot coming out of high school.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
Those are the learning things, though.
I did it. I just didn't,
Well, I think that your dad was probably known for some parties as well. So
sure.
Yeah. You with Ray and Rich, and when Rich stepped out of the car, the people started driving for you over the years. Do you remember the names, like you said? Scott Dodd.
We had Richard was the first partner, and then Scott Dodd and Richard Moraine came into the car.
Kelly Holzabus.
Daryl Parrott drove a few times. Kelly Holzabus came after Scott and Richard, and then our son Ray Jr., and then Dean.
Mark drove it a couple times.
But he was never a racing partner.
Right.
He was in there every once in a while. what did else? What else did Ray like to do besides
Party.
party,
Yeah.
race and party?
Yeah, we were great party people. We threw a lot of parties.
And if it's a film of that, we wouldn't be able to show it with this video. So
Probably not.
but he was a great guy. I mean, I remember coming to my speed shop, and I could ask him questions, and I know he'd give me a straight answer. He was interested in what other people did as well with their cars.
Right.
And he was open minded, and when we ran our comp car, he'd come in and we'd talk about things, and I learned some stuff from him as well. When did we lose Ray?
He died in
17,
2016,
16,
Christmas Eve.
December 24th.
It's
Yeah.
tough times. I think everybody was saddened by that. The whole racing community. Such a great guy, a wonderful person, and
He had colon cancer that he was fighting, but he died from a cat bite.
like a septic type of thing, or
Yeah.
Because he was on chemo, the cat bit him, and his immune system was so low he couldn't fight off the sepsis. So that's what killed him.
yeah, that's I'd heard something, but I never really knew exactly what the deal was. I knew that he was fighting cancer.
Well, he was an animal guy. He fed ducks. So same thing, like Rick
He
Waters
was
and
petting
him
a neighbor cat.
will feed the stray cat, will feed the stray dog. They'll feed the ducks. He was an animal guy.
We live on a lake, that's why he was feeding ducks.
No, he would go
He
to
didn't just run around.
he'd go to the
Look
duck
at
place
the
by
duck.
Eaton Enterprise over there on the corner
Oh,
down
feed
from the
those
mountain.
ducks?
Feed those ducks. Yes. So he'd carry a loaf of bread with him, that he was going to feed the ducks
A
with.
good man.
He did more than part. He liked to vacation. We were talking about that on the way here. Vacation was very important to him. He had to take the family on vacation every year. No matter a couple years we had staycations because we didn't have a lot of money, and we went camping a lot because we didn't have a lot of money. But we went every year to Disney.
They took time off to do it.
Yes,
So you did the trip to Wally World and all that, and
Disneyland.
Yeah.
We never went to Wally World, but
Yeah.
I guess that is Wally World.
well, Magic Mountain was actually Wally World. They wanted to use in that movie. They wanted to use Disneyland, but Disneyland said we're never closed, so they wouldn't let them use it. So that's why they had to go to
Yeah.
Magic Mountain. It was interesting. That movie was so much fun. It put a lot of phrases we use still today about in our normal lives. Ray, when did he enjoy the car? Or did he just decide Ray Jr. did he?
He enjoyed the car. Yeah, he was into football, and got a scholarship to college for football, and then Dean kind of was more interested in it than Ray, so
Mm-hmm.
he kind of took over, and Ray just kind of backed out. His life just kind of went a different direction.
Which happens,
So,
right? So you're the guy. You're the that says, "Son, this is upon you to keep the family tradition going." What would Ray think of your son Kevin's abilities?
No, he got to see a little bit of it. He loved it. He liked it. So he got to see it. I think he got to see Kevin's first win. So he got to see that, and then he always dedicated the win to somebody or something. So he would always, this goes to you, this goes to you, this goes to you. So he would be more than happy that Kevin's kind of being competitive and out there trying to do what we're trying to do. So we're trying to win the world championship this year. That's our goal.
You got a good jump on it already.
Yeah, I'm 2, he's 3, so, or maybe he's 4, but he's got a whole race on that he can collect on me, so he can pass me easily.
So that'd be great.
Yeah,
It's fun to see that that with your dad's passion, how it's gone on to multi generations in your family. Kevin's got kids,
yes,
so
2 boys.
you're a granddad and you're an awesome grandmother.
Great grandma.
Yeah. How does that feel?
I don't feel any older, but
You don't seem any older. You look
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's I always this always knew it's a family affair when you guys were all out racing, and other people can learn from that. Anything you miss about racing, going to races? You go very often with
I go with him a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, this year I've gone more than
Good.
I work for him also, so sometimes I have to be at the office. But
So
my jobs at the office have gotten a little less, so I can travel.
you've been able to
more.
delegate to somebody else,
Right.
right? So yeah, you have the floor business, but you're also into what's your other business?
Solar,
What's the name of the company?
D-cell.
And you do what do you specialize in? Anything
So
industrial
well,
or residential?
no. The D-cell company right now strictly focuses on race car trailers.
Oh, that's cool.
So when you go, so our my partner and friend Andy Moick, we sat at the race one day and we're breathing exhaust and listening to generators. And I said, I go, we just put solar on here, and we don't have to breathe any of that. So NHRA made you put the thing on the top, but you still, like, all night long, if you're parked next to the wrong guy that doesn't shut their generator off, it just, it's
You're hearing it.
all night, So, and same thing, we kind of do the same thing. So we came up with a plan. Andy's really smart about that type of stuff. So he got the inverter, the new lithium batteries, so we can run a trailer. We don't have to start our generator at all on ours. So we presented to NHRA to do their safety safari trailers, and then we did some other ones. Now every racer, we got a guy flying around the country right now installing them every day. I mean, every couple of days he's somewhere else. So he's on his way here. We're going to do. I'm teaming up with Rick Waters and Outlaw Racing now, so we're going to do Jason's motorhome and trailer there. So he won't have to run a generator. So your generator stuff, which to me is a lot really convenient, because you back your motorhome in, you back your trailer and unplug it. You don't got to plug anything in.
And you're not spending money on fuel. You don't have to. Oh, we got to stop and get fuel for the generator.
Right. So that's like a $200-300 a weekend savings, and you're not wearing it out. So
How do they find it? If somebody said I'm interested in that, how do they find your company?
DCell.com.
Spell it.
DECELL.
Okay. .com.
.com. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it's fantastic. I've had little panels to charge the trailer, keep it charged when it sits on the side of
Right.
the house. But
This runs everything.
Yeah.
This will run the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're working on a deal now, because the big motorhomes have 3 to 5 air conditioners. That's a tough deal. One air conditioner can kind of handle it, but 3 to 5, now you're carrying a lot. So you may have to run the generator to keep the battery up if it's really, really hot. But as we travel in places that usually NHRA's tour is around where the weather's better, so rarely are we in 100 degrees,
Right.
at a racetrack. So
Indy can be a crapshoot.
correct,
Yeah.
yeah. So you
Because
could
we have-
be hot or cold,
That's right.
So it's the same
Rarely
thing.
perfect.
Right.
Your dad would probably be fascinated by all this. Probably right in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The technologies and stuff. He was.
Just kind of the wave of the future. We saw an opportunity, and like I said, NHRA, they jumped right on it, because same thing. They got to run their generators from the day they get there, every weekend. The safety safari trailer, the ticket counter, all that stuff. So all those trailers are outfitted now with D-cell units, and they don't. You walk up, you're not hearing a generator at all. You can talk to the ticket lady without.
I felt the pain of other people's generators.
Yeah.
They're supposed to run pipes on it, but not everybody runs a pipe that actually works.
Right.
And the noise is terrible, especially because everybody's generator is usually on the side of the trailer.
On the other side, yes, where you're at. So,
where you're at. So
well, eventually NHRA is going to mandate time frames for it, so it's not day and night, because you're going to get into EPA and air quality and
sure.
already different air quality. So people argue the difference of the nitro and this and that, whatnot. And now you got exhaust, So if you go down any racetrack, there's at any given time 50 generators running right now, So that quality of air is going somewhere.
So the NHRA, leading by example, put on all their safety safari trailers that
Yes.
people you can show that probably show people that let's look into that.
So they're not going to deny the generator. They're just maybe make some like nighttime time frames to where maybe it'll this is quiet time. You can't run your generator from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Kind of like the
things
quiet
that.
time
Yeah.
in the pits with the racers.
Yeah. So we look at it as being in rush hour traffic all day long at the races.
Not going anywhere.
You're in rush hour traffic. Everything's running. You're breathing everybody's car exhaust, whatnot. So although you have maybe your air conditioner and recirculate, but so you're in rush hour traffic all the time.
That's a fantastic deal. I mean, I'm excited to hear about it. And so like I said, Ray would have been all over that. Something new, a new widget that he probably would have, jumped both feet into if he was around still.
Yeah.
Because he loved engineering, things like that. I really appreciate you being here today. Anybody, tell me about the rest of your family. Who do we leave out?
We've got our daughter Cindy, and
Okay.
she's got one. I've got a great grandson by her. Two grandsons. She has two boys and one great grandson.
Where does she live?
She lives in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Avondale,
Everybody's still in town, or Ray
No.
Jr.?
Ray Jr. lives in
Show low.
Show Low.
Okay, well he's still in Arizona.
And
He's
got
probably
one-
smarter than the rest of us.
He's got, he's pretty smart, but he's got one daughter and twin grandsons,
Awesome.
and then of course Dean, and then Kevin and his daughter Tiffany. She has two kids, so
I have
And
10
then-
grandkids.
and then Kimberly with her 5 kids and all their kids. So we've
That's a
got a
lot,
big family.
you did a lot of begatting there in the
Yes.
Carter family, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. It's fun to hear the passion, family and all that, and it's really important that the drag racing. You have your family. You also have a drag racing family, and both of them are great things.
Right.
So, anyways, we appreciate you being here. If Ray was here, and Ray is, that for everything he did, he's definitely an Arizona drag racing legend, and just wish we could be here to hug him and worship him, but he's not. But we appreciate the years we had with him.
Right.
Thank you for being here today.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.